3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, June 27th, 2018. I hope you're enjoying your week. In this video, I want to talk about Litecoin. In particular, I'd like to talk about the downside of Litecoin. Because we're in a downtrend, we can take a quick glance at the chart from that recent lower high at 180. There it is. We're in an obvious downtrend. The momentum is kind of pulling us down. And this channel really is all about anticipation. It's about preparation. It's not about making predictions. It's not about hype. This is realistic outlook on the market and a realistic and I think conservative approach to accumulation and to long-term wealth. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. And let's talk about this. Before we get into the charts on this continued downtrend and where we might be headed, I do want to talk about the depth chart on GDAX. I always find it interesting. It's something I do daily. I check it out. I always like looking at the order books. They intrigue me. And even the engineering behind building these exchanges intrigues me. So I enjoy watching what's going on. And especially with crypto, I enjoy watching the volatility of it. When things are moving, it's crazy to watch sell walls come and go. Big sell walls come and go at like the snap of the fingers. So let's talk about it, because really the depth chart right here gives us a nice picture of the market. I mean, really at this point, it's all we need. And this depth chart is a picture of the order book on the side here that you see. It just represents it in an illustrative manner. But I want to point out, let's talk about what's going on here. You have these buy orders, you have the bids over here, and then you have these sell orders, the asks over here in the red. Now, I don't know if any of you were watching these the order books back when there was an insane run up, right, that we had to all-time highs, but it looked nothing like this. It looked basically like huge sell walls on the ask side, and really the market was chasing those walls, and those walls were coming down constantly, and there wasn't all this heavy buy volume down here. There weren't heavy bid walls like there are now. So why are there heavy bid walls right now? I mean, look, you see the volume down here in the $50 range. That's people basically ready to buy at those levels. Now look at the sell range on the asks. There's nothing really there. So it gives a general picture of the market. When the market is in a bullish trend, you'll see sell walls, you'll see them come and go quickly, and really, you don't even have people placing limit orders to buy because the market's going up too quick, so they have to place market orders and just get whatever price they get when they place an order. So that's not happening here. So we're in this downward trend, and when this changes, I don't know. But I wanted to talk about that because it's a nice picture of the market right now. So in terms of Litecoin, let's talk about two things. First, let's start on the daily, and I want to point something out to you. Obviously, we've entered my accumulation area of that $40 to $80 range that we talked about, I think, in a video last week. And I don't know where the bottom is in Litecoin, but my best guess is that it would be somewhere in there. Now, what I want to point out on the daily chart is this, and I guess we can go to my Bitfinex, and we're going to open up from where we are right now, the RSI. So we talk a lot about this 40 line on the RSI. We've talked about it a lot for months. Let me get a different color brush here. So we talk about being under that 40 line and staying under that for a good amount of time. Not a good sign, and it's also an indicator of a bearish market. So you can see we've slowly just created these lower lows in that RSI, and we've been under this 40 line for a while. We've made a couple attempts, right, to break above it, but we've stayed above it for a while. So the last time we bounced on the RSI was right around 20, let's call it 24. And if we're about to create another lower low in the charts, in the markets, and on the RSI, we're going to be down probably in this 20 area on the RSI, very low area. So let's kind of look at that area in terms of the bear market that we had a few years back, right? And let's even actually go to, here's the low in Litecoin in that bear market, right? Right at the end there in 2015. So let's go there and let's take a look at what the RSI looked in that area. Obviously trading well below 40 for a while. You can see it happening all in this area. And then here's that low that we just talked about. So that's in the 15 area on the RSI. So we're not at 15 right now, but if we continue making these lower lows, we're going to be there soon. And that's going to be, in my opinion, a pretty cheap Litecoin. So keep an eye out on the RSI, keep an eye out on momentum, because we can't get momentum right now. It hasn't happened. And that's the next thing I want to talk about, which is on the 4 hour, it just pretty much gives a clear representation of momentum not happening, mainly because there's no volume for it to happen. And then this downward trend of no volume, we're seeing a pretty consistent pattern, obviously bouncing off the 50 EMA multiple times over and over on the 4 hour. But beyond that, I want to actually even bring out the Fibonacci retracement, because it helps us see a clear picture of this pattern that has continued to form. So let's take, for instance, just at first glance, when we traded sideways here, this was what, 2 weeks ago or so, in like the beginning of June, and then we made like a 20% drop, right? So, but then we had a retrace back up a little bit, almost approaching the 50 EMA, and then it kind of consolidated, and then we had another like 20% drop. And it's a similar situation where we've retraced back up, kind of approaching, and we come back down, and we're starting to consolidate right now, and we're right at $80. But let's look at what this looks like with the Fibonacci retracement. So from that drop, that first drop that we had in the beginning of June, to that first retracement, let me try and make this a little bigger for you. You can see we're like right at the 618. Now, getting rid of that and then taking the fib retracement again, let's take this most recent drop to this most recent high. So right below the 0.5. And then what happens after we have that, drop right there, you can take that low to that high right there. And let me make this bigger. Okay, so that low to that high, back down to around the 786, and then a bounce back up. And then we don't, just exactly what happened here, we don't approach that most recent high, we don't break it. So we're right here, we're not approaching that most recent high. I was kind of trying to keep an eye on that over the last 12 hours or so to see if we approached it and broke it, but we're kind of fading out here, and similar to how we faded out here, and then I'm looking for a break back down, obviously with support at 75. You can see last time we had a higher low and then traded sideways before a breakdown. So we have no momentum. We have no volume to get us to where we need to be. And I don't see any signs of it as of yet unless something happens. So if nothing does happen, what can we expect? I think it's safe to expect, on this low volume situation, another pretty steep leg down with, creating a new lower low, and it would look something possibly like this. And we can take data from the past. So let's just take this leg down, right? So we have, that's a 24% dip on that leg down. And then we can take this most recent leg down. That's a 26% dip. So from where we are now, let's just average it at 20. And that's not even an average. It's a little less than average. So let's say 20% dip, another leg down. That brings us right at around $65 for the next low in Litecoin. So that would be right around here, okay? So it would look like a dip down to 65, and then obviously a retracement back up like we've been seeing, retrace down, some consolidation, and then we're going to be having the same conversation maybe in 2 weeks from now or a week from now to see if we're going to go down another leg and test 50. This is kind of what's continuing to happen in this downtrend, and I don't see anything's changing right now with no volume. It could change very quickly, but we don't know. So I wanted to do this video not to be discouraging. I don't mean to be negative. I don't mean to be bearish. You all know I'm very long-term bullish on Litecoin, on crypto in general. But like these downtrends that we have, right? And I'm trying to open up the daily chart. So let's go to the daily. Let's zoom in on the daily. So these downtrends, and now really kind of a bear market, right? We're there. I don't think it's not really a secret anymore, but gives us an opportunity to accumulate. But if we're constantly trying to accumulate at each bottom, you'll run out of funds. You'll run out, and then we'll have another leg down, and you'll be like, shoot, I don't have any funds left. So you kind of do want to anticipate worst case scenarios so that you are ready with a good amount of funds to invest in Litecoin if you want to go long at a cheap price. So right now, we can do a horizontal line right at like $50, right? So maybe another leg or two down, a couple more lower lows, and we might be at $50, and we might have the RSI looking really low at around 15, which is right about where that bear market left us in 2015. And then we might be really talking about a bottom. We could go even lower. I don't know. We could go to the trend line here, $25. It could happen. But I just want to kind of talk about this because it's important to talk about it. You can't just be oblivious to the fact that we're going down. There's no volume to bring us up. It's time to prepare. It's time to get ready because this is where the money's made. When the market is fearful, when people are leaving cryptos, this is it. And it's a huge opportunity. So let's kind of, I think, look at it objectively and conservatively, formulate a plan and kind of attack that plan and have a long-term opportunity at hand right now. That's my approach. I'm sticking to it. Let me know your approach. Let me know how you're doing. I know it's tough to see everything going down. Everybody was doing way better up here, obviously. Unless you started shorting there and you're someone that's shorting cryptos, you're probably doing very well right now, so congratulations. But if you're a long-term holder, hang in there. Don't spend more money than you can afford to lose, and always zoom out on the charts long-term. Just kind of look what's going on. It's a very good idea to do that. Probably not the best chart to look at because it's extremely messy, but you get my drift. Appreciate you all coming by. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of the channel. As always, I will see you in the next video, and God bless.